Who is waiting for 2027, by the way? In the diaspora, we don't think so. Aren't you on the ground listening to the people? Can they wait for 2 more years, for real? Sorry, am I pushing buttons? Mount Kenya, they get bonus for coffee and tea. I'll create bonus for sugarcane. And all that. But people can see it through. I don't know whether, I think somebody is telling him it's a good thing, but people can see it. Texas is the size of Kenya. It has 1 governor. The governor is assigned 2 cars. And he has to leave them there. He takes his and goes home. He only uses them when he's moving.
Official duty.
2. He's governing 31 million people, and no money is disappearing. He doesn't need helicopters to go to the other corner of the state, the same size as Kenya. Yet we have, I think the president has got 12 helicopters. They say that Shisha is working. It's not working. It's really not working.
That's what you're getting.
Please don't abduct me like that. But first of all, as a president, you can't be an agent for another country. You can't be providing jobs for people in another country. You need to provide for your people here. There are countries that people don't have jobs, but ghosts get paid. Ghosts get paid.
A very good day to you and welcome to Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Jadiel Kabiro. It is always a pleasure, it is always a joy, it is always a privilege to have you joining us every single day for political conversations on this platform. Conversations that we say we hope will help our political leaders in making better policy and political decisions. My conversation today is all about looking at Kenya from an aerial view, that is, the diaspora view. So many of our friends and families in the diaspora are looking at what is happening in the country, and so many of them have questions. Some of them actually have ideas on how we can shape the policies of this country. Today I'm joined by Comfort Munoru Mwangi. She's a political commentator. She has lived outside the country for over 30 years in Germany and America. We're going to talk about what she thinks the diaspora feels, or how she herself feels about the situation here in the country, from forced disappearances to the economy to the political landscape. What is happening? Ms. Comfort, great to see you.
Nice
how are you doing today?
It's so nice to see you live. Yeah, it's really nice to see you.
Sitting
You've been
here.
doing a very good job with this show.
Asante sana.
Yeah.
We're so grateful. You vied for a political seat here in Kenya back in 2022. Of course, you've lived in America for a while. There is politics over there. Now Trump is the president.
Yes.
But looking at what we are seeing, a lot of cases of forced disappearances, abductions. You know, we had this Gen Z protests. How are you seeing it from where you are? And is this affecting your perception on safety when it comes to being here in Kenya and even your loved ones that are here?
Oh yeah, of course. It's been a real big horror to see how young people are being abducted. And we don't even know the right numbers. We don't know how many are dead, because sometimes we see in the news bodies are found in a river, some kids, some bodies are dismembered. And then we know that some are found. And like what that Muturi, the AG, his admission, we get to know, we really know who is doing all this, but we feel unsafe, and the word gets out, because it's a small world. You know, we've got our Gen Z children who are communicating with the Gen Z here, and then we keep on seeing everything on the YouTube. So the general image that we have is that we're back to the Moi days, that when you come back here, try to talk politics, you can be abducted.
How do you perceive government's effort? Because you listen to government, they haven't yet actually taken accountability. Everyone is saying, no, it's not us. But you listen to AG Muturi's testimony. He's saying, look, it's the president who helped me get my son back.
It's obvious. We all know. We just need to connect the dots. As you're saying, it's an aerial view. We have somebody denying, and then halfway accepting, and then giving the reason why. And then we have A.G. Muturi's son let go within an hour. I've got no idea. Police, I've got no idea. Suddenly they're called, yes, he's here. Do we need to go any further?
So what are you looking forward to? Because, of course, you're looking at it and you're thinking, my people are not safe. Of course, you have family. Of course, you're raised in Kenya. What recommendations do you have for government, especially looking from your perspective as someone who doesn't live here and are worried?
As a diaspora who's lived in Europe, I would like to tell them to stop. especially the president, because it all ends with him. We do have the UN laws, of course, that came up after 1945. The human rights, it's there. And everybody has got the right to live and not to just be mishandled, that kind of a thing. And he has a case in ICC. I was looking up and I saw the lawyer, his lawyer, Gachagua. He was going to, at the ICC, he had like 3 weeks to go for trial. Then he died. So his name is still there. Meaning that the file can be reopened. This is a very serious thing. Abduction and falsely holding people is so, out there, it's so huge. We may start seeing sanctions if it continues, because it is continuing. That impunity of it still continuing, and we know who it is what is scary.
If this happens in America, let me just ask, can this even happen in the US, where young people, citizens, activists are just disappearing out of the blue?
First of all, when I had that guy who had been arrested, the one who had, who was caught for cutting the body parts and everything in the quarry, and then he escaped, that's a manhunt. The place would have been shut down. There'll be a manhunt, we'll be having photos everywhere. Have you seen him? It just ended like that. Somebody who was suspected of killing so many people. So there could be two things going on here. We could be having a serial killer that is going scot-free, because it could be femicide, but it can be all men deciding that I'm angry with this woman, I'm going to chop off her hands and her body parts. I'm not a detective, but if all the bodies are coming up, chopped up, it can be just femicide, because you can't all have the same way to kill the woman you're with. You see what I mean? Who is investigating that?
The case just disappeared.
The case just disappeared.
The guy escaped jail, prisons, and then
it's unbelievable. Gone. So, and yet we have all the best CCTVs since Obama visited this country. There's so many ways they could have gotten that guy if they were interested. So those are the things that scare us, because we don't know whether that guy is still here.
Or complicit with government. You can never tell.
You
look at now the economic side of it. You know, there's this Moody report that came that Kenya is moving towards the right trajectory when it comes to credit. Of course, there's, you know, the African Union comes with their own report saying, look, why did you come from negative to positive all of a sudden? There should have been a stabilization. Government says that the economy is doing well. The economy has stabilized. You look at yourself from the diaspora, how many calls do you actually get from Kenyans telling you that things are not doing well? Or are we the ones that are complaining and everything is doing bad globally?
Actually, if they check the diaspora remittances, they've gone up. We are feeling it, because before we used to like support our relatives who are really like struggling, but now the middle class, our middle class friends are also suffering. It's a big change. So people are calling because of medical bills, because of their shisha issues. It's not working. So people have to pay out of pocket when they're standing there with a sick person.
You mean the people calling you for money for hospital?
So when they say that shisha is working, it's not working. It's really not working.
That's what you're getting?
Please don't abduct me like that. But it's just really not working. We are feeling it out there. And not only are we burying people, because you can see all the WhatsApp groups, people dying for something that is treatable, but most of them are dying while waiting to be treated, or they can't afford it. So we feel it when it comes to food, school fees. We're filling in all those gaps. I know the government feels very happy saying that the diaspora remittances are #2 income in the country, next to direct investments. But that's not something to be proud about.
That is something that we are proud of as a country.
You're not proud about, like when I'm sending money, I've never met a German trying to send money to anybody in Germany or somebody from Finland. So if you're up there, it means your government is not functioning. The monies that we are sending are filling in the gaps due to poor governance. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because we are paying for school fees, we are paying hospital bills, we are paying for food. Some people actually boil the water and they call, I just need the flour. I just need the flour. We're now even feeding people up to the table, the meal for the day. Yes, it's that bad.
You listen to government's response, especially on shift share. You look at the affordable housing thing. Government is like, this is what we promised. So this is what we are delivering. Better healthcare, we're delivering houses. Actually, we even reshuffled cabinet, resolved cabinet so that we can fix things in this country. Does this hold water for you, that the government is actually trying?
No. What they need to do as a government, because of this mess they've put us in, they should be able to provide money for the whole country, like for 6 months, for that transition period, that everything is paid. If you're sick during that time, you need any help, they're supposed to pay all that for 6 months. That's a punishment for them, for not planning ahead to safely move. Why did we even need to leave NHIF instead of fixing it? So they need to fund everybody for 6 months. Nobody should be dying.
Okay.
Then when it is stable, then we can move from there. You talked about, what's the other thing you mentioned?
Affordable housing.
Affordable housing, that is not affordable housing. That, of course, we all know is a scam. We've lived out there as the diaspora. Affordable housing is affordable rent. You don't ask somebody who doesn't have an income to buy a house. So it can be classified as affordable. So once you lose your job or you're not employed, then the government steps in and gives you a voucher to rent one of the houses, making it affordable. You don't say, no, I don't have a job, I need an affordable house, and they say, come here, buy this new house. Does that make sense to you?
The president says it's those with pay slips that are complaining. Those without jobs should not complain when it comes to shifsha, affordable housing.
My sister-in-law, for example, she has a pay slip, and I saw the deductions. She has a mortgage that she's paying somewhere else. She doesn't want to pay levy for a house that she'll never live in. And then, who wants to live in all those, the culture, we had it in the US, the projects where they build houses for everybody to live there. Kenyans are not yet ready to move there, where now you're seeing who did not fry their food, you did not fry, what time did you come? They're all so crowded, there are so many people. We don't have that culture. And everybody has somewhere where they go back home to, where they can build slowly or they have something going on. But affordable housing does not mean you provide houses to be bought. Those who are at that level to buy can build for themselves, and they have got their own taste, so to say. It should be rent.
It should be rent. Let me tell you about Herena, a premium master plan gated community along Thika Superhighway, Hapo Bobby's Harris Road. They give you an acre of land there, and you can be able to develop the house of your dream. This is what Herena is doing for you. They have consultants that can help you in developing that house. They have consultants that can help you in getting a payment plan for that house. So when you look at whether you are looking to construct a house for yourself, or you're looking for a master gated place where there is amenities such as hospitals, schools, in a community that is, you just get to experience, that countryside living, but you are near to the CBD, to Nairobi, Herena is there for you. They already have fence, utilities, the gate has already been put there, the perimeter wall is already there. For more information, you can go to herena.co.ke or call them at 0798 444 111. That is 0798 444 111. Go to Herena, check out what they have for you. 1/8 of an acre in a master planned gated community, and you know what they're telling you, once you buy that property, they are there for life. They will be with you in ensuring that the property is well managed. Speaking of the economy, Ms. Comfort, look,
yes,
we are talking about what is happening in the country, and cabinet was reshuffled. It was first dissolved, then it was reshuffled, and now we have the likes of Kabogo now in government together with Mutahi Kagwe. Do you have confidence in our ministers, in our CSS? Of course, we've seen what is happening in the US. President Trump has come with his own group, those that carry his vision. A lot of backlash from the liberal or the left-wing side, but these are the people that have the vision of Donald Trump. What do you say about the cabinet we have here?
The cabinet, you're talking about the new guys,
yes,
Kabogo and
Mutahi Kagwe.
Mutahi Kagwe and the guy from Nakuru.
Yes, yes.
And all those. First of all, Kabogo and Kinyanjui, is it?
Lee Kinyanjui.
Yeah, those are governors. I would like anybody to Google Kenyan governors. The top 20 richest people in Kenya are 20 governors.
Oh.
Number 20, we have Kinawa Vinya, we have the other one who was also put in the broad bread, the Luhya guy. the broad-based,
Oparanya.
Oparanya.
Yeah.
Those people are operating in millions, like $18 million. We have Kidero, all those people. So we need to investigate the connection between even Wairia from Muranga. We need to investigate your governor, you come in, then you become a billionaire. Kihika, all those people. So now when you see them singing songs about, you know, how now we're against Gachagua, we're doing this kind of a thing, we're now in it. I think some of them are covering up not to be investigated. They're probably blackmailed, in my opinion. And that's why, because you see somebody who would have never supported, like Kabogo would have never supported Ruto, who had messed him up and stopped his chances to be a governor before. Now he's saying, I'm for him. Then he gets in, he's for ICT, but he's more focused on just talking about social media.
In politics too.
Yeah, social media and shutting off and turning it on or something like that. So I feel that is just a way to reward, get the heads of parties, Kijibamba, each of them have a party or something.
Yeah.
So you get the leaders, hoping that through those leaders, they'll influence the mountain. But it's going to just benefit those few people.
I think it's called Tujibebe.
Tujibebe,
Tujibambe. But do you think they were put there because of their, you know, regional kingpinship or something of that sort? Or is it merit-based? Because there's one thing to say, yes, they have accumulated wealth, but they can deliver. If you look at Kabogo, what he did in Kiambu, some said, you know, he raised revenue collection from the Kiambu county, so he can actually deliver. Do you think there's someone in that cabinet that can actually deliver?
Kabogo was a fantastic governor. I know people from Nairobi were even going to hospitals in Kiambu. He really delivered, and that was his docket. But then when it comes to ICT, he's talking more about the social media, protecting or shutting down and things like that, or turning off. I feel it's obviously just picked to fit in a certain plan. And that is why we have Wairia, who was a governor from Muranga. We have him, we have Lee from Nakuru, we have Kabogo. And then we have Kagwe, but maybe he was an efficient guy, and maybe he can deliver. I won't be surprised if he decides to step out.
There's some who say the ministers cannot deliver because the president is too hands-on. He does not give people space to work. I think there's this guy who resigned, head of delivery unit, who said there's a lot of bureaucracy, he doesn't have the bandwidth to deliver. Do you believe this is the case, that if you can be able to work, but then there's the president all over?
He's not a hands-off guy. Sometimes you wish maybe someone like Uhuru, by 3 o'clock, and he'd meet his cabinet, 3 o'clock he's off. We see now from the iBird's view, when we connect the dots, we see the president reaches up to the tenders, up to what's happening at the airport, in the ministry, in the school, in the hospital, on the roads. He's very hands-off, and from what people say, very controlling to see that everything is done. You cannot make a decision on your own. Yes, you saw his phone was full.
Yeah.
His phone was full. It couldn't. Nobody could upload any messages.
Yes.
When he was trying to look for the AG son.
That tells you a lot.
It tells us a lot.
You look at some of the policies, though. Some of the policies that the government is putting in place, you know, high taxation. They're saying they're dealing with debt here in the country. The president says we are now stable. You know, these are the reports we are getting. But how do you look at it when it comes to economic growth and investor confidence here in the country? Because if you look at Finance Bill 2024, where it was pushed down, everyone was saying punda imechoka.
Yeah.
How would you compare that to what happens in the US when it comes to taxation?
The taxation has become very punitive here. And the taxes that were coming with that bill were being pushed also to the employer, and both the employer and the employee. And then when you add the cost for the electricity, and then another things coming in, plus now the levy, you also have to pay that double everything. And then you have a neighbor, Tanzania, you have Ethiopia, they'll take off.
And that's why Tanzania was actually being ranked higher than us when it comes to investor confidence.
And in fact, let me tell you, there are 5 countries in Africa that hold half the GDP of Africa, just 5. So it's 1.4 trillion is Ethiopia, Egypt, Algeria, Nigeria, and South Africa. Algeria is because they pump out gas, natural gas that goes to Europe. Nigeria has got oil. Egypt, the location with the Suez Canal and all that trade and tourism. And then South Africa, mining of the minerals. Ethiopia is because of agriculture. Agriculture. And it's even landlocked.
Yeah.
Yet here we are, that's another thing we need to discuss. Here we are, we have the Gulana. And the UEA, the president has given them 200 acres, 200,000 acres for 99 years. Do you know that?
200,000 acres?
Yes, Gulana.
Kulalu project.
Yes.
Irrigation
yes,
project.
it is this month. We're signing the deal. Agriculture. So look here. The UEA, they give us oil and the gas and then whatever petroleum. We send them food and fruits and goats and that kind of a thing. All right? Now, if we give them that land, they'll come and even do it better and take away our sector for agriculture.
Just like that.
Yet you look at Tanzania, the Tanzanian president, she's getting jobs, 10 million jobs for her youth. Did you know that?
10 million.
10 million jobs through agriculture. It's called a better living something for the Tanzanian youth. It started about 3 years ago, whereby the youth are given land from the government, about 700,000 acres, land from the government, training and funding.
Oh.
And then they're provided the seeds and irrigation. So the youth, like the Gen Z, if they were the ones who now can get that culture of knowing that agriculture is #1 in Kenya, go into it like I don't know what, like
to it fully, full force.
Yeah. They will, and then they're provided all that. They'll be exporting all over the world. It's in the billions, the profits they can be making.
But you come back to Kenya and then you ask yourself, 20,000 skilled and unskilled workers to take jobs overseas. This is according to the Ministry of Labor, that is CS Mutua. And you think to yourself, guys are being taken to Arabian countries. I think there are deals with some European countries. How effective will this be to addressing this issue of unemployment? We've been talking about unemployment since I was a kid. And now 20,000 being taken abroad.
That is nothing. And 20,000, that's what I was promising as a senator, and not to Arabia, maybe to Canada and the US. Saudi Arabia, they stopped slave trade 1962. Slavery was banned 1962. 1962, that means some of the adults like me were brought up by slaves there. Now the black slaves are the ones who are doing the housework, and were just like mistreated. But the ones that came from India and I think or Turkey, they were treated better. And that is why when we take our people there, they're mistreated, they're killed. It's very terrible.
So the culture is still there?
It's still there. These people brought up by, they just really know you're a slave, you're almost like an animal. The black ones.
Doesn't government know this?
Some are killed and buried in shallow graves. Yeah, they're really mistreated. And the government, okay, we have they take a very large group there, but the government is fully involved about their rights and everything. I know our diaspora department is also trying, but they don't understand the history behind it, why it is that the black workers who are mistreated.
So is this something that you would want our Ministry of Labor especially to look into? Because you first need to understand the culture of a country before you send people there.
You don't even need to send. First of all, as a president, you can't be an agent for another country. You can't be providing jobs for people in another country. You need to provide for your people here. We don't have enough nurses. We need to get our hospital completely built up and well serviced, and when we have excess nurses, then we can send them out.
As we end up this economic front, what measures would you want to see? Because you've lived in Germany, you've lived in the US, you've of course hear a lot from Kenyans and those in the diaspora. What measures would you want to see from our government now when it comes to addressing these key issues of the economy?
I would say, first of all, as when I heard about the open visas and giving visa to anybody, first of all, that's a security risk, in that we don't know who is coming in. We don't know whether they're sick, what they have on them. You don't know whether it's a pervert. We have people here who are trafficking also our children. We don't know who is coming in because they don't have a visa. The president opened it to everybody. Any corner from the world, you can come to Kenya. Now we have all sorts of people here competing with us directly. If you go to Ethiopia, the borders are tight. In fact, they almost know when you've come in, they know when you're going to leave, each person. Okay? And that helps them in terms of, okay, tourists can come in. If you're coming for a job, we know why you're coming in. But we can't have somebody from Burundi coming to Kenyatta market to compete with everybody there. The whole of Sudan taking over South B and South C and hawking, and even the beggars from Tanzania are competing with our beggars.
Yeah.
You know, you see, you know,
We've opened fully.
Open fully,
And
and we don't know whether they're going to leave. Once they come here, it's a corrupt country. They can get an ID, a passport.
Yeah, it reminded me that we were going to give our airport to Adani to build, operate. That operate part.
Yes.
You know, they could have brought anyone because we were not part. We were not part of the, you know, administration when it comes to giving Adani our airport for 30 years.
Yeah, it is. That's how it happens. First of all, they'll come. They bring in the people who are working. They bring everybody, Packer, the sweeper. Okay, and so all those jobs that we have there at the airport will be gone because they have to bring in their people. They'll say that they're trying to hand over, that kind of a thing. But again, that's another, I'm going back to the public participation. It's not happening. We've gotten the whole thing upside down, that these are our employees and we are the bosses. We are the bosses, for real. For real. We can't have, okay, let me say, for example, Texas. It's the beauty of being out there. Texas has a population of 31 million. That's one state. Texas is the size of Kenya. It has one governor. The governor is assigned 2 cars, and he has to leave them there. He takes his and goes home. He only uses them when he's moving.
Official duty.
2. He's governing 31 million people, and no money is disappearing. He doesn't need helicopters to go to the other corner of the state, the same size as Kenya. Yet we have, I think the president has got 12 helicopters. And then we're renovating state houses. What for? If you can have a helicopter, then fly and come back and sleep in this one, just the one we've made for you.
We have now.
So why renovate all those ones and you can come back in 1 hour, you can fly back. Or the cars, you also need cars for the road.
There's a lot of wastage, people say.
A lot of wastage. And also, I saw Mudavadi talk about Kenya losing 604 billion a year through corruption. And I did some mental math because that is money that, if you look at the population that is unemployed, about 25 million or 20 million, those people can get 5,000 every month. Every month, everybody who is unemployed should have a little money to have some dignity. You can buy airtime, you can contribute to our unga in your house, and we can afford it as a country.
So much of what we say, because now there's a lot of complaint because, you know, Trump did away with foreign aid for 90 days, grants to, we can self-sustain. Is this what you're saying? When you look at corruption in the country, you look at the wastage, we are a country that can sustain itself.
Of course we can. First of all, there's a lot of hacking that's been happening on your e-citizen that is not reported.
Oh.
Yes. The most recent one was about 10 billion. It just goes. Okay. Even your blackout, all that is hacking, but it's all covered up. Because I happened to see the UN security, they're having discussions, and there's some countries who they don't invest a lot on cybersecurity. And us as diaspora, we get all these funny calls, people are losing their land, and that kind of a thing, that because of being hacked and accounts being hacked. But we're not safe as a country. There's some leakage through hacking that is not made public.
And if it's not made public, that means it's deliberate.
Yes, and no, it's not made public to make all those moody things look good and all those things look good, yeah. It's not told, you don't have to be told that. Then we have the corruption. You know, when they said it's 3 billion, 2 billion during Uhuru, now it's 3 billion, which is about 608 a year, just gone. That is money that is through corruption. Then you have the people looking for jobs. Then you have ghost workers. Can you imagine what it looks like?
A lot of money.
Yeah, a country that people don't have jobs, but ghosts get paid. Ghosts get paid. Yeah.
So
the wastage is just so much that Kenya, we can afford to give people a minimum wage where they're seeking a job for their own dignity. Because people are so desperate, and it's not good to push people to that level. of desperation.
Do you think the president is willing to make these changes that you're saying? Of course, I've had so many conversations here about what can be done, so many recommendations. In the economic front, do you think the president is willing to make these changes? Or is it a case of his advisors? People like to say advisors, the likes of David D, now Moses Kuria is part of the bandwagon. People say his advisors are failing him.
No, again, as a president, he said he was going to do things, he didn't do them. It's now, that's why, like, if we were to amend the constitution, we should be having a midterm to see. That would be 2 years. What have you done? He's done nothing. I don't know where Morara went.
Morara Kibaso.
Yeah. All that information was very valid. And now what we are hearing from the former deputy president, there's no work has been done. No work has been done. Yet we are borrowing money from everywhere. Okay, people are stealing. I saw one guy wearing a shirt that's worth $250,000 a shirt. And all this, you know, we have got too much wastage going on. But that is our money. Then you come around and you want to tax us. We shouldn't be having a country where people are going to bed hungry, yet we have our monies out of the country. Another thing, the money that has left our country is building other countries. You go to Dubai, the interest rate there is very low for the people there because all our money has gone there. That's where it is. That's why they take their money to Dubai, Cayman Islands, and all those other places. So we are building other countries. They have got so much money, they tell people their citizens come, now it's more interest rate. And here it's killing us.
You brought Rigathi, he's revealing a lot.
Yes.
And there's this discussions in the country, especially from Ruto's side, that you don't need Mount Kenya. You know, everyone is talking about 2027 as soon as last year, but you don't need Mount Kenya. And Rigathi is, you know, spoiling the name of the president every day. Every day is coming up with different, confessions and allegations too. Is this a viable move for the president? You've been an aspirant in Murang'a. How crucial is Mount Kenya in Kenyan politics?
It is, and especially Murang'a. When Murang'a coughs, that's when the rest of the mountain starts feeling the
Just
cold.
because you're from there?
No, not because. If you know the culture, that's why we came. Ask them. Ask any Kikuyu, we're the original. But yes, the mountain, they're spread everywhere. But as Rigathi says, betrayal. You betray, you're out. And he's right. You can't say we are tribal. We can vote for you, Mr. Ruto, fully. He's not tribal in that way. But you can also then go back to the tribal politics. That is also another different topic, if you want to handle that. Just like the animals, if you were to look at the animals out at the watering spot, you see the elephants drink fast. They make sure every elephant has drunk. The next animal, the hyenas are hooked. That is where tribalism comes in. But most the countries out there sorted that out long time ago. Wazungu sorted it out. They're just enjoying how we're killing each other with tribes. You go to Europe, the Italians have their borders, Spanish. They sorted out their issues. And they helped, like Yugoslavia split into 3. They helped them split. Because it's true, when it comes to a matter of resources, you think about your own first, naturally. So if the resources are not enough, people become tribal. Then we made an error when we made the constitution and broke into counties. You go to Ethiopia, they have got nine states. 9 states which have got mixed tribes over there. And it functions better than breaking down to our counties, which are now tribal.
So do you think when it comes to 2027, we'll still play the tribal thing? And I think when it comes to Kithure Kindiki, now Deputy President, it's all about, you know, trying to solve those issues that were brought with Gachagua's impeachment. Do you think tribe will also play a role? Because there are people who are saying, you know, Kenyans are woke. Kenyans will look at the economic front. Ruto does not need, Gachagua does not need Kindiki. If he just fixes the economy, he might get re-elected. Could this be the case?
First of all, why are you talking of 2027? You know, that's a trigger for many. You can't be it's like being in hospital and you've been cut your leg. The doctor says, just give me 2 years, I'm coming back to put a Band-Aid and give you the painkiller. Who is waiting for 2027, by the way? In the diaspora, we don't think so. Aren't you on the ground listening to the people? Can they wait for 2 more years, for real? Sorry, am I pushing buttons?
So you don't see elections, the convention, it can be held anytime?
Do you know how far that is? Some people cannot, they can't see this country functioning beyond 4 months. We have to hit a reboot, and the Gen Z started it. This government was told to go June
25th. But how comes it has taken this long for government, for Ruto to go? I think that was like, we've stayed for almost 6 months with the Ruto regime, despite what we saw with the Gen Z protests. What do you think has sustained this government up to now?
Money, 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 and Kenyans. Kenyans are the best people to oppress. Sorry to say that, because you say, oh, maybe it's God, and maybe what, you go to sleep, you wake up. The problems. Other countries, by now, they'll be up there. We saw another embarrassing thing out there is having our president come number 2 as the most corrupt guy. And then the most corrupt guy has been sent home by his country. Assad.
The most corrupt has been sent home, but ours...
Well, they went to his house and took him out. Number 2, we're just still hanging around and talking of 2027. We cannot rely on that generation that are now grouping up. I know it's a good idea for them to group up. I wish they could group together. What I saw, Malwa, Onyonka, all of them grouping up, it's good. But I'd want them to have a whole team of Gen Z that they're mentoring for that transition. We can use their method of tribes and groups, but the Gen Zs, they'll come, they don't have any. I just came from a wedding. My friend's daughter is marrying a Luo, and we were all there. Those fish, those goats, those everything. They've got all these things you're talking about, it's not with them. But we can use a combination, a hybrid of those parties, Karua, Kalonzo, all those people coming together, the Wazes, because 6% of Africa is people over 60. The rest, 70% are the Gen Zs. How can you leave them out in a conversation? Yeah.
So if you look at the president, he went to Western last week, stayed there for about 5 days. Western Kenya, playing politics, promising, delivering bonuses for farmers there. It's as if he's taking the country, or he believes the country will vote based on tribe. Again, talking to 27. What's your advice to leaders like him, who are now walking through region? Even Rigathi Gachagua, some say he's claiming kingpinship of Mount Kenya. And you're saying the country is at the brink of collapse.
I think this president just loves campaigning. He loves it. It's a thrill for him. But then he uses the same script. And you can use the same script if you're doing this in Kenya and then going to Nigeria, but we're all in the same country. You can't con one group so nicely, play around, and then carry the same script to the others, to Mlembe Nation, and hope it will work. At least there he's not said, He's not said that. Did he say that in Kiluya? Oh, he did?
Yes.
Oh, then I missed that. Because that was a script.
And you know
yeah, but then now he's pulled a bonus from anywhere. There's also, Mount Kenya, they get bonus for coffee and tea. I'll create bonus for sugarcane. And all that. But people can see it through. I don't know whether, I think somebody is telling him this is a good thing, but people can see it.
What is what is the diaspora perspective on what we're looking at in politics? There are these coalitions. There's Raila with Ruto, Raila to go to AU, possibly Ruto inherit Raila's constituents, but Kalonzo is with Gachagua. These alignments that are happening, what is your perspective from the diaspora with regards to what the leaders are doing?
We are so terrified, and we feel very bad 60 years down the road that these are people, the Gen Zs are coming full force. The revolution is happening. They're coming, and then they remove the air. That's what Raila did. Then we had that, they're just spoiling for the Gen Zs.
No.
They're spoiling because they're making it tribal and then coming in together. They should support the Gen Z in their space and help them come out. Yeah.
What is the place then of the diaspora in this conversation? There's the way you are looking at things, but what is your place in making changes, in making sure that policies are implemented? How can the diaspora even be involved? Well,
we can vote. We are voting, and we're here on the ground. We can use our remittances. If we in the diaspora decide we're not going to give in money, we just say we cast 1 month. All of we just agree. We can shut down the place.
At the risk of your loved ones.
But I'm just saying they need to really also understand that we can do that. But I would say some of the policies really need to change, but he's like time barred. We've seen what he can do and what he cannot do. Actually, there's no time. Don't keep talking about 2027.
What about the president? Should he think of 2027? Because this is a politician's mind, though.
That's what he's thinking, and he's planning about it. And another thing, the monies that we have extra, instead of renovating those state houses for the second time, is buy the printing machines for your IDs, for the people who need IDs. Okay, at least now he's setting up an IEBC with people who we are seeing like the balance is not showing the country's face, the IEBC lot, but at least it's a step forward. We can micromanage it, we can look at it and what they're doing. But I think he's planning for the 2027, but he really needs to understand that people are telling him to go home. The country is saying, please go home.
I was looking at what you've done from Kenya, education here in Kenya, business management, Germany, business re-engineering, US, you have a master's in education and your 4 semesters at MIT, focusing on AI, blockchain, etc. I've done a lot.
Yeah, at MIT, the blockchain. Actually, friends, about 7 of us from Alliance, we came up with a blockchain app that could be used by the Ministry of Lands, for example, where the records, because Kenya was saying we're going to move to blockchain for the records in the Ministry of Land, okay? Now, blockchain, you cannot go back on any transaction. But that's not what they were doing. They were actually digitalizing, which is the most dangerous thing. Many people have lost their land. When you digitalize, you're getting people to manually get the file and look at it and put in the data. They change that name, gets into the system. You come with your title. They say, let's do a search. They search, they tell you it's not your land. It's not your title. Your name doesn't come up.
So how does blockchain work differently?
Okay, once you get the green card, each file has got like a green card. You get that information and you lock it into the blockchain. The next transaction can only be added and added any direction, but you cannot go back and change that part. You can't even access it.
So there's a lot that, how can that help in
We tried it. Actually, we moved it up the ICT. I think it was Mr. Demo who was there. And the cartels, they said no.
So based on your education and experience, how can you advise us with your outside lens about what
I would say, like, especially like the AI, which I did, what I was doing at MIT. Where AI is going to go, or we shouldn't be investing even in houses and rent, that kind of a thing. That's all going to be overrated and unaffordable because of the way the jobs are going to shrink before they change and become different types of jobs. Many people are going to lose more jobs. Some of you don't have jobs yet, but those who have are already losing, and they're going to lose more with AI. You can see what AI can do.
Yes.
AI can do your job. I could be interviewed by
system,
you don't have to be here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually,
I can take your picture and you can interview me, kabisa, and you're not here.
You've seen the online
and you're not here.
Protests with AI. You know, this photo imaging of the president.
Yes.
It has cost a lot. I think that's
Trump is put in a coffin every day, even put with tubes.
Yeah.
It's freedom of speech. It's freedom of speech. And not overthrowing the government. And they're not doing it because, why didn't they do it before?
Is that enough?
They're hurting. In fact, you should let it continue because they have a place to vent. That's what I would say.
Instead of them coming
They have
outside.
a place to vent. I mean, they do that in a talker.
In a talker. Yeah.
But then now you block that,
Yeah.
and then you snatch others and throw them in trunks and to scare them.
People will come out.
They'll come out, and they're going to come out. They're going to come out. You're not going to be able to handle this.
To both the Gen Z here in Kenya, those in the diaspora watching us tonight, what message do you have for them in the context of, this is our country?
Yes.
You know, I tend to believe that the country comes first.
Yes.
Even from our politicians, you know, the economy, abductions, and everything. We need to focus and think that this is our country. So no matter what we do, we don't want to be like Congo, what is happening there. What is your advice so that we don't get to that place of Sri Lanka where people storm into the palace and get the guy out?
You have to get the right leaders. In my opinion, I would say we run the country like a corporation. We will not lose a penny. Okay? The Gen Zs are smart, and they can be able to go from county to county, do some shows, get the right people in place for the job, right? Do you see that picture, scenario I'm painting?
Yes.
Get the best people for the job. They're answerable. You interview them yourself. Get the MPs you want. The Gen Zs, they interview people their age. Can you do this job? We want them to take over all these positions. We can have Martha Karua and the rest to help them into that space in the transition. Mr. Jimmy Wanjigi, Omutata, who is my favorite, you know, have them in place to help with the transition. But they can run this country. I said Kenya is the size of Texas. You want to tell me the Gen Zs with all their knowledge that they cannot run this as a corporation? Coca-Cola is in all over the world. It's all over the world. All over the world.
Because of right leadership.
Yeah. Accountable leadership. You'll be fired if you don't do the right thing.
Yeah.
Here you don't get fired. I told you 20 governors are the richest people in Kenya after being governors. Before they were not that rich. You become a governor, you're dealing with millions. Nobody is checking the accountability. I think we need to run. We're going into a new world. And I think we can take our country and run it as a corporation and put the right people in place and watch it. If you do the wrong thing, there's a jail. Here, who goes to jail? Tell me.
The poor.
Yeah, the poor. You steal a chicken, you're in jail like for 9 years. It's not fair.
Then maybe a message to also our leaders from your diaspora lens. Those who are aligning themselves in different coalitions and playing politics for 2027. You've told me not to talk about it. And they are regrouping, waiting for that election, IBC formulation, you know, the Supreme Court should go. Everyone is trying to see how they can get into power. What do you think about them?
Well, if you want to get into office, you have to be on the ground. I used to talk politics in the air. That's why I ran for office. I went through all the processes. I was with Azimio, and I got my 8,000 votes with all that wave. But I used a lot of media. I didn't dish out money. I used a lot of media in Noro, Kameme, Shoro. I was talking to people. They can be ready if they want to come in and take part. But I feel we need, my generation, Gen X, we need to mentor. This is going to be a different kind of a world. Like education. I'm also an educator. When I showed some of my students some pictures and they said, what's that? It was a blackboard. It was a blackboard, a class of black. What's that teacher doing?
The chalks, the blackboards, it's so...
That is a 5th grader. A 5th grader right now in the US has never had like an exercise book or a folder or papers to carry home. Everything is iPad. They carry the iPad home, they come with it to class. We do the roll call, I project, you airdrop that and that, they participate there, I grade the work, it's sent to them. I send to the printer for the filing, but they have their grades there. It's all on the iPad from pre-K. The pre-K is changing her picture on the whatever. They don't carry books and there's no writing. In fact, we have a writing class to remind them how to write.
But here
everything is iPad
here
now.
we were promised laptops in 2012, I think.
Yeah, oh, don't go
Still
there.
trying to go digital.
And so I'm just probably something we can do in between. Maybe Mr. Kabogo can try and follow that up. I think every home has got some smartphone one way or another. I think people, the Gen Z should help any other kids in the family. Show them some programs, some addition, some subtraction, some history. Use some technology. Don't wait for those teachers over there who, I hear a teacher is teaching 5-6 subjects that she never even trained for. Yeah.
Our education system
Our education system, because I also had a school, I had to close it. Because the CBC, the way CBC is not compatible with other systems all over the world. It's not. If you count the number of math hours and reading hours, it's not compatible. Like now they would call me and say they want sticks to make brooms. A whole lesson making brooms when you should be doing math. Like now, okay, going back to Ethiopia, their system, the university, has to be 70% science and 30 technical science, and then social studies, the other social sciences. 70%. So everybody is coming out, they're able to run factories, they're able to do that. That's why it's easier. If I want to invest making clothes, I'll go to Ethiopia. If I want to do something, make cell phones, I'll go to Ethiopia. Because they've targeted that. But we're not doing that yet. So, CBC is quite of a
So the big thing here in Kenya is all about leadership and vision.
Yes.
A leader needs to have vision to see this is what is happening in the world. This is where we should be as a country.
And don't change things. Fix some of the things. You don't stop NHIF and start this other something. Don't stop 844 that works with many other countries and bring something else. The grades for CBC is meeting expectations. Whose expectations? If you have an affair with your father, and you're gonna not meet expectations. Like, I mean, it's so personal.
Yeah.
You know.
Something needs to be.
Yeah, you're smart. You're meeting expectation, but you can't do this. You're pretty. Meeting expectations.
But
I was very shocked. That's the grade. Meeting expectations or not.
That's the grade.
That's a grade. And then you've got so many subjects. Paka French. You're passing there. The French teacher is Bourgeois. Teaching French. So, I mean, it's a mess. I think it didn't need to be changed. We should have fixed 844. If they wanted to teach people how to garden or to sew, we were doing it after school. Get a club into that, go do some farming, but stick with the right curriculum. Yeah.
That's the challenge. We are facing a lot of challenges here in the country. Thanks so much for coming. You've shared a lot of insights into what is happening in the country. And from your diaspora perspective, of course, we don't have much of that. And of course, I think government now knows what is the general feeling out there. If I would ask you in one word, what is that general feeling out there? That
2027 is too far. Things need to be done. Even if you want to elect him again, we need to get back and hit reboot. Yeah. Get the right people.
Thanks so much. I was here with Mheshimiwa Comfort. She vied in Murang'a as a senatorial aspirant. Of course, she has been living in America and Germany, outside this country, for over 30 years. She says it as she says it. She says it's time for a reboot. Those of us thinking of 2027. Oi. Thanks so much. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day.